Hello bookworms, Kim here and welcome on back to Bookworm Buzz. Yes, my friends, I know that this video is going up a little bit late because we are already at least a week into April, but I did want to share my most anticipated reads with all of you. That is the books that are coming out now in April that I'm excited about. Apologies for the video being late, but you know, life. I've been dealing with some very hectic times at work, and so to try and find time to fit everything in is sometimes a bit difficult. But do not fear, I am here. We are going to have a look at the April reads that I am most excited about. Now, obviously, there were a ton of books, or are a ton of books that are being released in April. I have picked the 10 that I am most excited about, and I've also tried to cover a variety of genres. As you guys know, I'm trying very hard this year to read out of my comfort zone and not purely or simply to just read thrillers and crime novels all the time. So in this video, I am going to be featuring some new releases in the thriller genre, the romance genre, the fantasy genre, and also in the, let me say, the thriller / horror genres. There are a few books coming out that probably would be classified as horrors, and so I've added those as well. Now, I am not historically a big horror reader, but I have been reading a few lately, and actually I have really loved some that I have read. For those of you who watched my March wrap-up video, you will know that the book that came in first position in March was in fact a horror. So I am keeping an open mind and I'm happy to try some new horrors. So what I'm going to be doing in this video is not necessarily reading you the entire blurb of every single book. So what I've done in general is I have gone through some of these books, I've made some notes, and I'm going to be reading to you snippets. Let me say snippets from the blurb so that hopefully this video is not too long and that you guys can stay interested in what I'm going to be talking about. Right, so as always, I will also be sharing the covers of the books with you. I will put them up on the screen here somewhere just so that you can have a look. I always like to see the book covers for a few reasons. Firstly, when I'm book shopping, it helps, it triggers a memory for me when I've actually seen the cover. And secondly, I just love looking at book covers. So the book covers will be up here on the screen as well. On that note, my friends, let's kick things off. I think I'm going to start this video by speaking to you guys about the thrillers that I am most excited about that will be releasing this month. Then we will go on to the horrors / thrillers, then we will do the romance, then we will end with fantasy. There will be timestamps down below in the description box, so if there are certain books you are interested in hearing about, you can always just jump to the relevant time in this video. Okay, so first up, my friends, we have a thriller. The title is The Death of Us, and the author is Abigail Dean. Now, this one sounds very interesting. I am super excited to get to this one. So with this one, the little catchphrase that I found was the following: bringing together the slow burn simmer of psychological suspense and the propulsive drive of crime thrillers, The Death of Us is the story of a marriage turned inside out by a violent encounter that sets fire to the hairline faults that were there from the start. So basically this one goes on to say, late on a summer's evening when they were 30 years old, husband and wife Edward and Isabel's home was invaded by a serial killer. They had a relationship that was a real partnership, but their solid foundation implodes in the wake of this violence. Then, at the age of 58, they are reunited for their tormentous trial and forced to confront their lifelong love and the secrets, passions, and encounters that bind them still. This story is a captivating portrait of a marriage told through the lens of the explosive, violating moment, and it digs into the stories we tell ourselves about love and what love can bear. So, sounds very interesting. I mean, it's obviously a thriller, but then it also seems to be a thriller that's focusing on a relationship, on the love between these two people. It seems that what happens is obviously this violent encounter that they are exposed to. It seems like it breaks up their marriage and that they are reunited then many years later when this serial killer goes on trial. Now, I have a thing about serial killer stories. I tend to love them. And so, yes, count me in for that one. Very excited to get reading that one. And then next up, we have this one, which is Murder Between Friends, and the author is Liz Lawson. Now, this one, guys, has a stunning cover. I just think this cover is so gorgeous. I actually don't want to know too much about this one, so I haven't gone into massive detail in terms of the blurb, other than to say this one sounds like a great story. Again, it's a story of friendship. Let me just read to you very quickly what this is about. So basically, 2 years ago, the murder of a neighbor tore 3 best friends apart. Now the killer is going to walk free, and the ex-friends are going to have to face the past and each other. So this book is described as a twisty thriller. It is a book about, like it says there, about friends, but also basically what happens is that the testimony of one of these friends puts the brother of another friend away behind bars for a very long time. And then this guy that was put away in jail is about to be released, and it reunites the 3 friends, and they have to face the past and they have to face each other. And anyway, that is really all I want to know, because I think it sounds twisty, I think it sounds fun, I think it sounds interesting, and yes, very excited for this release this month as well. And then next up, we have this book, which is Julie Chan is Dead. The author is Lian Zeng. I don't know if it's pronounced Lian or Lian. It's not spelt like Lian, but it could be. But I'm just going to say Lian Zeng. So let me tell you a little bit about this one, friends. So this one, firstly, is a debut novel. So I love reading debuts. It's always nice to try and find new authors to get excited about. And this one also sounds like a cracker. So basically, here we have the following from the blurb. A young woman steps into her deceased twin's influencer life, only to discover dark secrets hidden behind her social media facade. Julie Chan has nothing. Her twin sister has everything, except a pulse. Hello. When Julie discovers Chloe's lifeless body under mysterious circumstances, she seizes the chance to live the life she's always envied. Haunted by Chloe's untimely death and struggling to fit into the privileged inner circle, Julie faces mounting challenges during a week-long island retreat with Chloe's exclusive group of influencer friends. As events spiral out of control, Julie uncovers the sinister forces that may have led to her sister's demise and realizes she might be the next target. So yes, just another one that sounds fun. It sounds a little bit different, maybe a little bit interesting. And so yes, that wraps up pretty much the 3 thrillers that I wanted to tell you about in today's video. And so now, my friends, let's move on to the horrors. Right, so this one is generally described as a horror, but as I mentioned at the beginning, they also do have elements of thrillers in them. So it's a horror, it's a fiction, it's a thriller, and doesn't it just have the most interesting title? So this one is called Bat Eater and Other Names for Cora, Zeng. And this is by Kylie Lee Baker. Now, again, a very interesting cover and definitely a very interesting name. So with this book, let me tell you what the blurb says. It says, in this explosive horror novel, a woman is haunted by inner trauma, hungry ghosts, and a serial killer as she confronts the brutal violence experienced by East Asians during the pandemic. So in this story, you have Cora, who basically cleans up crime scenes for a job. But this doesn't bother her because she's actually already seen the most horrific thing ever, being her sister's death. However, before fleeing the scene, the murderer shouted out 2 words at her, being bat eater. I mean, it's just sounding bizarre, but anyway. But then Cora finds bat carcasses at crime scenes where she's busy cleaning up, in terms of her job, and this starts to make her feel very uneasy. And she's also feeling uneasy because her recent cleanups have all been bodies of East Asian women. So, I mean, doesn't that just all sound totally bizarre? So basically, Bat Eater and Other Names for Cora Zeng is a wildly original, darkly humorous and subversive contemporary novel from a striking new voice in horror. So again, just one that sounds so different, so interesting. I mean, there's obviously aspects here of racism, perhaps. It seems like this is a story about the targeting of Asians or East Asian women during the pandemic. I'm not 100% sure, but yes, we will have to check this one out just because it sounds so interesting. Then next up, we have a horror novel that I am pretty excited about because I have read one or two things by this author previously and I have enjoyed them. I don't think they've been quite 5-star reads for me, but I do remember enjoying them and being entertained by them. So this one is a book that I'm definitely keen to check out, and that is on my TBR. So this one is called When the Wolves Come Home, and it's by Nat Cassidy. So basically, my friends, we have this story. One night, Jess, a struggling actress, finds a 5-year-old runaway hiding in the bushes outside her apartment. After a violent, bloody encounter with the boy's father, she and the boy find themselves running for their lives. As they attempt to evade the boy's increasingly desperate father, horrifying incidents of butchery follow them. At first, Jess thinks she understands what they're up against, but she's about to learn there's more to these surreal and grisly events than she could have ever imagined. So, I mean, sounds interesting. Also sounds like it may be a little bit gory. There may be some violence and some body horror in this one. I'm not 100% sure, but definitely keen to check it out and to give it a try. And then the third horror/thriller novel that I want to tell you guys about today is this one, which I'm pretty excited about as well. This one is called The Staircase in the Woods, and the author is Chuck Wendig. Now, this one is another one that just sounds like it might really suit me because it's got definite horror aspects to it, but then it's also got different thriller aspects to it, which is something that I do enjoy and that I obviously do love. And actually, quite a few of these horror books today seem to go down that path as well. So, my friends, listen to this one. 5 high school friends are bonded by an oath to protect one another no matter what. Then on a camping trip in the middle of the forest, they find something, being a mysterious staircase to nowhere. One friend walks up and never comes back down. Then the staircase disappears. 20 years later, the staircase has reappeared. Now the group returns to find the lost boy and what lies beyond the staircase in the woods. So again, I mean, yes, it's definitely got some strange elements to it. It goes a little bit fantastical in a way, but like I say, there's the sort of thriller aspect, there's a horror aspect, and so sign me up for this one, you guys. I can't wait to check it out. Then next up, I am calling all you romance lovers. There are 2 romance books being released now in April, which the romance genre lovers are going crazy about and are very excited about. I mean, I can't say I'm hugely excited about these just because I still actually haven't read any of the romance novels that I've bought. And so I'm still not massively sure whether that is going to be a genre for me. Having said that, I do obviously want to share these with you because I know there are a ton of you out there that love reading romance. And also because I am going to be trying to read some romance in the next few months. These sounded fairly okay. They sounded okay to me, but I know so many romance lovers, as I've already said, are super excited about them. So, I mean, let me just mention them to you. So the first one is a book called Say You'll Remember Me, and that is by the author Abby Jimenez, who is a massively popular author in the romance genre or category of reading. Readers absolutely adore her books. So, of course, I had to mention it in this video. So, right, in regard to this book, it says the following. This one is described as a playful yet deeply emotional contemporary romance. So basically in this romance, you have Sam who meets Xavier. Xavier is a vet and the two of them hit it off instantly. So they go on a first date. It's amazing. It's brilliant. Sam has the best time ever. But then she is forced to admit the truth, and that is that her family is in crisis and any kind of relationship at this stage would just be impossible. So Sam begs Xavier to forget about her, to get on with his life and to move on. But the problem is that no amount of distance or time is enough to forget what they had. And the only thing better than one single perfect memory is to make a life and even a love worth remembering. Oh, you guys, how sweet. I don't know. I mean, yes, it sounds okay to me, but like I say, I'm not going to make too many comments because I am not the biggest romance reader. So, you know, take my feelings with a pinch of salt. But for those of you who are excited, this is definitely a book to look out for. Then the second romance novel to mention is also by a super popular author that many people go crazy about, and this is Emily Henry. This is her latest one called Great Big Beautiful Life. So basically, this one is getting pretty good reviews, and it seems to be about two writers or two authors. So anyway, let me read to you what the blurb says, and then you can assess for yourself if you think this one would appeal to you. Two writers compete for the chance to tell the larger-than-life story of a woman with more than a couple of plot twists up her sleeve in this dazzling and sweeping new novel from Emily Henry. Alice Scott is an eternal optimist, still dreaming of her big writing break. Hayden Anderson is a Pulitzer Prize-winning human thundercloud, and they are both on the army little crescent island for the same reason: to write the biography of a woman no one has seen in years. Tragic heiress, former tabloid princess, and daughter of one of the most storied and scandalous families of the 20th century. When Margaret invites them both for a 1-month trial period, after which she'll choose the person who'll tell her story, there are 3 things keeping Alice's head in the game. 1. Alice genuinely likes people, which means people usually like Alice, and she has a whole month to win the legendary woman over. 2. She's ready for the job and the chance to impress. 3. Hayden Anderson, who clearly sees her as competition. But the problem is, Margaret is only giving each of them pieces of her story. So my friends, if you guys are romance readers, I'm sure you are pretty excited about these 2 releases. I know a lot of people who are. I'm a little bit on the fence, but obviously, you know, they do sound decent. So I'll put them on my TBR and see if I do manage to get to them. Then the last 2 books that I'm going to be chatting about in this video are both fantasies. I am new to the fantasy genre. I am currently trying to devote the whole of April to just reading fantasy novels. I'm actually on book number 3 at the moment. And so far, so good. So these next 2 books, like I say, they are both fantasies. They are both coming out in April. So the first one is called Forged for Destiny. This is by Andrew Knighton. Now, this one is not actually getting amazing reviews, but there are only currently 5 ratings on Goodreads. This one is coming out in the middle of April, around the 15th of April, but I have read the blurb and I do think it sounds interesting, and I absolutely love the cover. Isn't the cover just stunning? But anyway, this is a high fantasy basically, so pretty much adult fantasy. And let me read to you a little bit about this book. Rule has a claim as his birthright and as the last surviving heir of King Balbanius, and lead his conquered people to freedom. The signs are all there. His birthmark in the shape of a half moon and a dagger. The gemstone hilted sword is found in his parents' inn, and the sudden influx of illegal books featuring the late king's lineage. Never mind that his mom is a hidden scribe writing a play about Balbanius's return, or that his dad, a hardened warrior, has been training him to fight since he could stand. Or the fact that his sword doesn't seem very old at all. He feels much more comfortable reading than fighting, and his birthmark is looking more and more like a burn scar. As Rul leaves his simple village life to start a rebellion against the tyrannical government, he begins to wonder if his destiny is more someone else's plan for a future he doesn't want to be a part of. He'll go along with things for now, if only to prove that change can come from kindness instead of outright destruction. After all, destiny is what you make it. So I thought this one sounded pretty interesting. I mean, I wouldn't say it's right up there in terms of books that I'm looking most forward to for the month, but it is one that sounds interesting, and so I will be adding it to my TBR. And then last up in today's video is this fantasy novel, which I am actually very excited about. This one is getting very good reviews and ratings. It has 505 ratings currently on Goodreads, which is pretty good, and it's getting an average of a 4.5. So this is a new fantasy, well, it's going to be a new series, it sounds like. This is the first novel in the new series. This one is called The Raven Scholar, and it's by Antonia Hodgson. So basically, this one says, from an electrifying new voice in epic fantasy comes The Raven Scholar, a masterfully woven and playfully inventive tale of imperial intrigue, cutthroat competition, and one scholar's quest to uncover the truth. So already that sounds awesome, but let me just carry on for a little bit and let you know a little bit more about the story. Let us fly now to the empire of Oran, where after 24 years of peace, Burson the Brisk must end his reign. In the dizzying heat of midsummer, 7 contenders compete to replace him. They are exceptional warriors, thinkers, strategists, the best of the best. And then one of them is murdered. It falls to Nima, the emperor's brilliant, high scholar to find the killer before the trials end. To do so, she must untangle a web of deadly secrets that stretches back generations, all while competing against 6 warriors with their own dark histories and fierce ambitions. Nima believes she is alone, but we are here to help. All she has to do is let us in. If she succeeds, she will win the throne. If she fails, death awaits her. But we won't let that happen. We are the Raven, and we are the Magnificent. So very different, sounds very fun, sounds very interesting. I'm all for it. Between the 2 fantasy novels that I've just told you guys about, this is definitely the one that I'm most excited for. So yes, this one will definitely be on my TBR. And I do also like the fact that it's going to be a new series. I know there are a lot of fantasy lovers out there who love the standalone fantasy novels, but I'm actually a fan of the bigger, the better. You know, when series are at least 3 or 4 books long, I really enjoy that. I remember enjoying that when I was younger, and I think I am going to enjoy that now in my older age as well. Right, my friends, on that note, I'm going to sign off here. Those are the 10 books that I'm excited about for this month. I'm super excited actually for all of these, except perhaps the 2 romance novels that I spoke to you guys about. Those I'm lukewarm about, but they obviously did make it into this video because I am trying to read outside of my comfort zone and because I know you guys like the romances. On that note, let me sign off. If you are looking forward to any books that I did not mention in this video, please leave your comments down below because I would love to obviously check them out and to hear what you guys are excited about this month as well. Happy reading, my friends. Bye.